Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How's everyone doing? We're going back live again for a short video. Uh, this one's for Justin Martyr. He's considered saint in practically all denominations of Christianity, give or take a few. But yeah, if you go to Catholics, Protestants, uh, Eastern Orthodox, Orientalist, they're all considered Saint Justin Martyr a saint, and also a lot of them actually prayed to him. So today we are gonna dive into what Justin Martyr wrote, the works which we have left of him, according to Irenaeus and stuff, and we're gonna see a short few clips of what's going on in his mind and in his life. So we are gonna begin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So Justin Martyr, um, his first work of sort, I would say, Against All Heresies, which is now lost, was there. Later on, I think he composed his Apology, which is now divided into two parts: First Apology and Second Apology. And his work was primarily addressed to the emperor of his time, Antoninus Pius, and his two adopted sons. The date is kind of inconsistent, with him claiming that Jesus Christ was 150 years before him, and he believed that he says in his work that it was Christ was born 150 years ago under Cyrenius. So yeah, Quirinius, now we call him. According to, he entered office around 6 CE, so that puts his apology somewhere around 156. And the Emperor Antoninus, I think, ruled from 138 or 139 to 161. And there was an issue with him being on, yeah, basically, Justin Martyr called him being in eternal fire and stuff. So that's another thing which was going on there. So the three works which are related to Justin Martyr are his first apology, his second apology, and his dialogue with Trypho, who was a Jew. So that's what we have. I think he wrote something against Marcion or Marcion, whatever you want to call it, depending on the region you live in. Marcion is the best pronunciation, I would say. There are some fragments of that. We suspect if it's his or not, but most of it, I think, is lost. So, without further ado, we are gonna start with. There's gonna be two of his apologies, and there's, I think, he had his discourse with the Greeks in a Jewish treaty or something. I'm not sure about that, but he did something along those lines. So let's begin. I'm gonna just type a comment on the chat. So let's begin. This one's a picture of his second apology, chapter 13, and a dialogue with Trypho, chapter 5. I'm gonna try to read it too for you guys. So, in this his second apology, chapter 13, he says, "For next to God, we worship and love the Word, who is from the unbegotten and ineffable God, since also he became man for our sakes, that becoming a partaker of our suffering, he might also bring us healing." So, in this one, he clearly says that there are two different gods, so to speak, and his uh, level of understanding of the Nicene Trinity is not there, which is basically modern day Christianity. Also, in Dialogue with Trypho, chapter 5, he says that the title of the chapter is "The Soul is Not in its own nature, immortal. In this one, he says that, and it's highlighted in here, nor ought it to be called immortal, for if it's immortal, it is plainly unbegotten. So he's talking about soul, and this basically relates to Jesus and all of humanity of sorts, because the discussion was about if soul is unbegotten, and then he in that he also say if that is unbegotten, then what do you think about this world and stuff. Moving on to second apology, chapter 12. Gonna read it out for you guys. So this one, if you read the highlighted area where he says that we have the unbegotten and ineffable God as witness both of our thoughts and deeds. So in this one, he's clearly talking about the Father who is unbegotten and ineffable, which means that he does not consider the Son to be unbegotten and ineffable. Obviously, nobody considers Son unbegotten, but the other part, which is ineffable or corruptible, he links that to Jesus. So this one, second apology, chapter 6. I'm just giving you guys the heavy hitters, so later on we can go with some different readings of his work, and it doesn't nowhere it proves Nicene Trinity. So in this one, it's a little bit longer passage, so I'm going to read all the highlighted things. It says, "But to the Father of all who is unbegotten, there is no name given. For by whatever name he be called, he has as his elder the person who gives him the name. But these words, Father and God and Creator and Lord and Master, are not names, but appellations derived from his good deeds and functions." And then he adds, "and his Son, the Word who also was with him and was begotten before the works." So basically, the same thing, that Jesus was created and through him everything was made. I'm going to read the second highlighted passage here. "When at first he created and arranged all things by him, is called Christ, in reference to his being anointed and God's ordering all things through him. This name itself also containing an unknown significance." So there's already a divide from what the Nicene Creed is and what he believed. Moving on to First Apology, chapter 63. This is also a heavy hitter, guys. So this one reads, "God appeared to Moses." And this one, I'm just going to make sure I'm reading the right one. Yes, that is correct. Let's do. So he says, "For they who affirm that Son is the Father are proved neither to have become acquainted with the Father, nor to know that the Father of the universe has a Son, who also, being the first begotten Word of God, is this." So basically, he trashes Nicene thing out, and he says that Father and Son are not one. This one's going to be chapter 53 also. Some passages of this are quoted by Christians, but this is what the name of the chapter is, summary of the prophecies, but this is the main part. So here I'm going to read the whole thing, guys, up until from the beginning all the way up to Jews and Samaritans. Okay. "So he is the firstborn of the unbegotten God, and himself will pass judgment on the whole human race, unless we had found testimonies concerning him published before he came and was born as man, and unless we saw that things had happened accordingly, the devastation of the land of the Jews, and men of every race persuaded by his teaching through the apostles, and rejecting their old habits, in which being deceived they had their conversations, yeah, seeing ourselves too, and knowing that the Christians from among the Gentiles are both more numerous and more true than those from among the Jews and Samaritans." So in this one, he clearly thinks, he confirming one of the things from Bible, that Jesus is gonna come and judge us all. But here he uses the word first. So instead of only, he uses the word firstborn of the unbegotten God. So obviously, we know that if God gives you any authority or power, you can act on it, which is the case right here. And this is what he believed in. Moving on to chapter 41 of the same apology. This one's going to read, the Lord said to me, you are my son. This day I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance. So, this one, guys, says that everything Jesus has done, forgiving sins, to curing people, to raising up people, to anything, all of this was granted on the authority of one true God. It's going to go first apologies, chapter 25. So this one, the title is False Gods Abandoned by Christians. And this one reads that, I'm going to read a little bit up from there. Someone or other of those who are called gods have now, through Jesus Christ, learned to despise these, though we be threatened with death for it, and have dedicated ourselves to the unbegotten and impassible God. So he's talking about the only true God, Father, and he clearly thinks that Jesus Christ is not that. All right, guys, I'm going to finish this live. If you guys liked it, please share it. We have a lot of topic discussions. I think I have close to 50 pages of document ready for Justin and Martyr. And, it's a very detailed discussion, and none of it resembles anything even closely to uh, the Nicene Trinity, the co-referential stuff, co-eternal, co-equal, stuff like that. All right, guys, take care. Take good care of yourself and talk soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.